Welcome to Question Time. I'm Benga Ashiru. Are you as confused as I am that a civil servant who was removed from office and placed under the EFCC watch list over alleged complicity in a $2 billion fraud could be reinstated and immediately recommended for promotion to the highest grade level in the federal civil service? Well, I'm completely at loss, I must confess, as to how this could be possible. Well, we definitely need to get to the bottom of this mystery. And these are the questions we will be asking as we proceed on this show. Who actually ordered the reinstatement of the former chairman of the defunct Pension Reform Task Force, Mr. Abdulrasheed Maina? How and why was he reinstated? As probe into Mr. Maina's reinstatement continues, let's find out from someone who should have answers to this puzzle. And that's the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. Join us in this conversation. Send us a comment on our social media platforms. Our guest on this edition of the program is the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami. He joins us in this interview.
Well, the truth of the matter about pension is a serious issue in Nigeria that has a checkered history. One, for example, I believe you are rightly informed that there exist at least about 12 pending court cases that are related or associated with the pension fund fraud. And I equally believe you are aware that investigations have been ongoing over time and serious recoveries, in fact, involving about 270 or more assets involving houses and indeed automobiles were recovered over it. And then around, I think, 14 billion naira over time. And then the investigation also reveals that there existed over 66 accounts that were being used in fraud associated, in pension fraud associated transactions. And I equally believe you are aware that there is a very strong allegation that about 217,000 ghost pensioners exist within the system. And you are equally aware that higher profile individuals, inclusive of political office holders, the senior civil servants, the military, the police, are equally alleged to be part of the syndicate relating to pension.
Now, this administration has been on board for the past 2 years. Is the wheel of justice grinding slowly on this issue?
Well, it depends on the perspectives on which you are looking at it. But one thing I can tell you clearly is that the fight against corruption is gathering serious momentum and is in no way slowing down.
How come this administration has not been able to conclude the case of the pension fraud?
Well, if you are talking of prosecution, I think is one single element among multiple factors of the fight against corruption. Let us look, for example, the case of preventive measures taken by the government. TSA is there, which has succeeded in plugging the existing loopholes in the act of corruption. If you are looking at the whistleblowing policies that has been put in place, it has succeeded in now identifying the existing corrupt practices and addressing them. If you are looking at a lot of other policies relating to legislation that are put in place and placed before the National Assembly for passage, they are equally part of the processes that has to do with checkmating corruption as a process.
It's been alleged that you sent in 4 different letters relating to the reinstatement of Mr. Abdulrasheed Maina. Could you clear the air on this?
Well, as at October 5th, 2017, issue relating to the reinstatement of Abdulrasheed Maina was an issue that was in the process in the office of the Attorney General relating to a request that was made by his lawyer sometimes back in April. In arriving at a decision in that nature, a lot of processes comes into play. The first process was a judgment that was presented by his lawyer on account of which he had sought the intervention of the Attorney General for his reinstatement. And then the first process thereafter was a request from the Office of the Public Service of the Federation seeking information relating to certain inquiries that were made. And then thereafter, there was equally a factor relating to a pending court case in the National Industrial Court, in respect of which you equally have to factor to mind in arriving at a decision. So as at October 2017, the truth of the matter is it was a process that was not concluded in the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation.
We need to clear the air, because they are saying that the letters which emanated from the AGF and the process of investigation now was referring to the court order on the warrant of arrest on Mr. Abdul-Rashid Maina, whereas the reason for his removal was not based on the warrant of arrest, but based on the fact that he absconded from office.
Well, the correspondence that exchanged hands over time relating to Abdul-Rashid Maina were mostly inquisitive. That is, the Office of the Attorney General seeking clarification of certain issues, because in arriving at the decision, one way or the other, you require a lot of information, and the information has to do with the processes and antecedents leading to the judgment, if any, orders, if any, pending suit, if any. It is the combination of this that you now analyze and arrive at a decision. That is why I now told you earlier that it is a process that was ongoing, that has not been concluded as at October 5th, 2017.